أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي آمين يا رب العالمين. Assalamu alaikum everyone. I hope all of you are doing great. Today inshallah we are going to carry on with Harf Nasb, and in this lesson inshallah we are going to see how they form various compounds or combinations with pronouns. Okay, so we did jar majroor fragments and how pronouns acted as majroor. Alright, we have done this earlier, and now we need to see how the huruf and nasab combine with pronouns. And in regards to that, we have a couple of important pointers that we need to take care of, and that's what we're going to discuss in this lesson inshallah. Okay, so let's begin our lesson by asking help from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So Rabbi Yasir, wala tu'assir, wa tammim bil khair, Ameen ya Rabbal Alameen. Alright, so we have our first person pronoun in singular, which is I. The rafa pronoun is ana, and it means I. Now, what happens whenever a harf nasab gets, attached, or it acts on an ism? It causes that ism to be in nasab form. So, as I hope that you remember from the pronouns lesson, there are three variants of ana when it comes to nasab or jar forms. Okay, and one of them is this. All right, ya with sakun. This is called ya mutakallim. Okay, all right. However, if you combine these two, okay, it would become innai. All right, technically that's what it should become. It doesn't really make any sense. So in situations where the ya mutakallim is not preceded with a letter that carries kasra, we do a little addition of this extra noon. Okay, and then we add ya mutakallim. Okay, let me show it to you. Alright, so here's our inna and here's our ya mutakallim. We add an extra noon here. Alright, this noon is called noon wiqaya, and we add it to the ya mutakallim so that it can easily the smooth flow of speech can be facilitated. So it becomes innani. Okay, now this is the principle that we needed to discuss. Now this principle is applied here in some huruf, all right, and it is also applied when we'll study fi'l inshallah. Okay, so that's where you're going to see this noon wiqaya once again. Alright, so let's study our principle. What have I written here? I've said that addition of an extra noon called noon wiqaya before the ya mutakallim is done if the letter before ya mutakallim does not carry a kasra. Okay. Similarly, we have innani, we have annani. Alright, so I hope that you know your haruf nasab by now. Inna, anna, ka anna, laita, lakinna, la Allah. Okay, so we have annani, we have ka annani, we have lakinnani. Okay, so these are your combinations. Okay, now one other point regarding this is the concept of contractions. Okay, so what is this? As you can see in the table, I have written two variants of these four words. Okay, so whenever the pronoun is attached with inna, anna, kanna, lakinna, these are the ones that end in noon. All right, that's when this innani, annani, ka annani, lakinnani, that is the formation of the addition of noon wiqaya is done. And additionally, we can also see that laitani is also one of those scenarios where we need to add noon wiqaya. However, la'alli is the one that is used. Okay, we do not say la'allani, we say la'alli. This is one of the exceptions, and you should always be ready for exceptions when it comes to Arabic, because exceptions tend to crop up everywhere in Arabic. Okay, so that's what. Now contractions. What exactly happens here is this. You see how we say it is in English, and then we contract it to its. Okay, it's the same concept. So what's actually happening is that these two noons fuse together, okay, and it becomes inni. That's all that is happening here. Similarly, annani becomes anni, ka'annani becomes ka'anni, lakinnani becomes lakinni. All right, and both of them can be used. Okay, so this was the concept of contractions, and this is something that you can see in the table as well. Inni, anni, ka'anni, lakinni. Okay. Next comes our nahnu, which is a first person plural pronoun for we. Okay, as you can see, we have innana, all right, because our nasab form of nahnu is na, attached na. Okay, so we have innana, annana, ka'annana, lakinnana, laytana, la'allana, and I also hope that you know their meanings by now. Okay, just to revise it, inna means indeed, anna is uh, one of the meanings is that, and it is not the pointing that, but the I told you that blah blah blah. All right, so it's that and not the pointing that. It has many other meanings as well, and that is something that we are going to cover in the due time, inshallah. Then we have ka'anna. Ka'anna means as though or as if. Lakinna means but or however. Laita means if only, and la'alla means so that or maybe or hopefully. Okay. All right. Next we have the contractions. Innana becomes inna. Annana becomes anna. Ka'annana becomes ka'anna. Lakinnana becomes lakinna. Then of course we don't need any any contractions for laitana and la'allana because we don't need it. Why? Because there is no subsequent repetition of this letter noon. Okay, so we are done with nahnu as well. The next ones are really easy and there's no important point to discuss. It's really logical. All right, so we have anta, antuma, antum, anti, antuma, antuna. These are your rafa pronouns for you, second person. Okay, and anta becomes ka, antuma becomes kuma, antum becomes kum, anti is ki. All right, antuma once again, kuma, and antuna is kunna. Okay, so nothing special needs to be discussed here. As you can see, inna is innaka, innaki, innakuma, innakum, innakunna. All right, so you can study this chart, and this is fairly easy. Same the case with the third person pronouns, he, she, it, they. All right, we have the rafa pronouns as huwa, huma, hum, hiya, huma, hunna. All right, he, both of them, all of them, and this is of course for masculine, and this is for feminine. Hiya is she, both of them, or both of those feminines or females. All right, and hunna is all of them, females. Okay, as I said earlier, there's nothing special that needs to be discussed here. So innahu, innahuma, innahum, innaha, innahunna. Okay, all right, so let's study some examples now. A very frequently said phrase or sentence in our daily lives: inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un. Okay, what is inna? Let's study it. We know innana, right? Inna is the contracted form of innana, and this na is your mansub form of nahnu. Okay, and it's mansub because of this inna. Okay, so it becomes inna, contracted form of innana. What's next? Lillahi. Now this word Allah is in jar form. Okay, why is it jar? We have studied one condition when an ism is in jar form, and that is being preceded with a harf jar. Okay, so it is actually your jar majroor fragment. Lillahi. Okay, wa inna, we did inna already. Ilayhi. Once again, ila. All right, and this he is your jar form of huwa. So this is jar majroor fragment again. Okay, and then raji'un. Before commenting on raji'un, let's look at this thing. Inna. In the previous lesson, I told you some five. Yeah, I told you 5 points about the Haruf Nasb, and I also told you in those 5 points that the combination or the combo of Harf Nasb and its ism is preceded by the appropriate auxiliary verb. Alright, so that's what we can see here. Inna, indeed all of us, or indeed we are. Now, for the English translation, of course, we don't need are here, okay, because it says that indeed we belong to Allah. Alright, so that's what. Wa inna ilayhi. What does ila mean? Ila means towards, okay, and ilayhi would be towards him. Wa inna ilayhi raji'un. Alright, now I hope that you have identified this suffix una. Alright, what is this? This is your Jama Salim suffix for masculines. Okay, so we have, for example, raji'una, raji'ina, raji'ina. Okay, this is one of those words. Now, this, if we remove this suffix una, we are left with raji'un. Okay, and this is the pattern of fa'ilun. What does the pattern of fa'ilun imply? It gives the essence of doer. Okay, so just as the suffix of er in English is added to any verb, and then the meaning or the resultant derivative becomes a noun, and it gives the meaning of someone who does something. Okay, so the one who does something is a doer, the one who reads is a reader, the one who teaches is a teacher, okay, the one who writes is a writer, so on and so forth. So that's the concept of fa'ilun as well. Okay, so since this word raji'un is on the pattern of fa'ilun, and the root word of raja'a roughly translates to return, therefore we can say that it is the returner. Okay, it would mean returners. Raji'una would mean returners. Okay, so you can now translate it, or at least you can understand this entire Arabic thing, what's going on here. Okay, because at times, since the exact word-to-word translation is absolutely impossible. Okay, it just can't be done, because so far I'm sure the translations that we have read for this phrase say that indeed we belong to Allah and to him we will return. You see, will return, now this is actually tense, it's verb, all right, but raji'una is not a verb, all right, it's not a fail, it's a noun, all right. And how do we know? Because of this suffix, it gives it away. Okay, so it's returners. Okay, I hope this was clear. Let's proceed to next example. Nahnu muslihuna. All right, nahnu is our rafa pronoun, which means we. And if you remember from the pronouns lesson, the rafa pronouns are also followed by an appropriate auxiliary verb. That's why I've written it in subscript. So nahnu, we are. Muslihuna, once again, una. This is the suffix for Jama Salim Muzakkar. Muzakkar means masculine. Okay, muslihuna. Now, what does muslihun mean? It means a reformer. What's a reformer? Who's a reformer? It's someone who makes things right. Okay, so muslihun becomes muslihuna. We are reformers. Now let's put some stress on it by inna. All right, what does inna do? It causes the Arabi change, and what happens is that its ism gets converted into its nasab form. So this nahnu becomes na. So we have innana, or its contracted form inna, and then of course this entire combo is followed by the appropriate auxiliary verb, and it becomes inna muslihuna. Okay, indeed we are reformers. Now let's put some more stress on it. We did innama in the previous lesson, so we add this ma to inna and it becomes innama. What happens now? Innama nahnu. This ma acts as a shield for the ism of inna, and therefore it nullifies the effect of inna on that ism. Alright, so our na becomes nahnu once again. Okay, so its nasab form becomes rafa once again. Innama nahnu, and of course the combo is followed by your auxiliary verb. Innama nahnu muslihun. Now this is one of the examples from Surah Al-Baqarah. Alright, so we have the opening ayat of Surah Al-Baqarah, in which they say that innama nahnu muslihun, and similarly we have innama nahnu mustahzi'un. Okay, so what's actually going on here? Let's see. Indeed, most definitely, we and nobody else are reformers. That's the concept, or that's the stress of that's what we call hasr or hisr in Arabic. Okay, so that means it gives the sense of this, that we and nobody else. Okay, that's what. So you can see how a simple stress has been magnified here, it has been intensified here. All right, so it says, indeed, most definitely, we and nobody else are reformers. Okay, similarly, innama nahnu mustahzi'un would be, indeed, most definitely, we are nothing but mockers. Okay, so that's the concept of hisr as well. We are going to these various degrees and various types of stress and emphasis, inshallah, in quite detail in the next section. All right, innama nahnu muslihun. Next example, inni ja'ilun. What's inni? You know already. It is your contracted form of innani. All right, inni, and it means indeed I am. Okay, why am I saying am? Because the auxiliary verb needs to follow your harf nasab in its ism combo. Okay, inni, indeed I am ja'ilun. Once again, ja'ilun, the pattern of fa'ilun. Okay, and what does it do? It acts as an er. All right, so indeed I am a maker. Okay, once again let's add some more stress by innama to it. Okay, so innama comes and it causes the ya mutakallim to revert to its rafa form, which is ana. Okay, innama ana ja'ilun. All right, so indeed, most definitely, I and nobody else is a maker. Okay, so innama ana ja'ilun. All right, so this was our last example, and I hope that the concepts that I wanted to discuss in this lesson are clear. All right, so well, you guys need to, as I always say in my lessons, that you guys need to practice. You need to know your declensions, you need to know your suffixes and all the prefixes, and all these things. So this lesson is done, this topic is done, alhamdulillah. The harf nasab is completed, and inshallah in the next lesson we are going to start the second reason of an ism for an ism to be in jar form, and that is it being the possessor of something. Okay, so that's muzaf muzaf combo, a fragment, and that's what we are going to study in the next lesson, inshallah. So till that lesson, inshallah, barakallahu li wa lakum fil Qur'anil Hakim, and I'll see you then. Allah Hafiz.